All right, welcome everyone to a very special explainer. Today we are literally opening up a highly classified, incredibly intimate file. We're looking at the autobiography of the human body's ultimate military command center, and we're exploring a story told from the perspective of the organ itself. Just imagine for a second that your body has a general headquarters, a central hub that's quietly orchestrating a massive, silent war every single day of your life. Well, this is the story of the thymus gland. It's this profound look into our internal defense mechanisms, detailing not just how they protect us, but the astonishing and frankly sometimes terrifying reasons they suddenly stop working altogether. So let's step inside the commander's dossier. To really grasp this, we have to start with a huge paradox. Have you ever wondered why some patients miraculously survive catastrophic illnesses like cancer, while others tragically lose their lives to something as tiny as a mosquito bite? It's a complete mystery, right? This paradox has baffled doctors for ages, which brings us to this famous quote. You see, our body's defense system sometimes just inexplicably shuts down without any obvious cause, and then, just as mysteriously, it restarts. This totally autonomous, spontaneous behavior of our internal defenses tells us that there are forces at play deep within our biology that we've barely even begun to understand.
Okay, let's dive into Section 1, Thymus, the body's defense HQ.
So, let's look at exactly what the thymus is and why it's absolutely crucial. Think of it as your GHQ, the general headquarters of a highly advanced military. This is the elite training ground where your fighter commandos, known as phagocytes and lymphocytes, are prepped for battle. The thymus is the mastermind here, fighting off millions of microscopic enemies over your lifetime. But what happens when this internal system forgets its training? Because sometimes the bone marrow literally forgets the formula for making these white blood cells. And when that happens, the stakes are sky high. Just think about this number, 10 million or 1 crore rupees. Back in 2010, that was the staggering cost of a desperate bone marrow transplant. I want you to really absorb that. It brilliantly highlights the almost unimaginable value of the natural defense systems working silently inside you right now. You know, the ones we usually take for granted until they fail.
But things can actually go terribly wrong in another way, creating a massive internal threat. The commandos trained by the thymus, your lymphocytes, are supposed to attack foreign invaders, but sometimes they become hyper-reactive. They get provoked by the absolute smallest things. And in some terrifying cases, for completely unknown reasons, they stop recognizing their own homeland. They actually mistake your body's own tissues for foreign enemies. This aggressive internal mutiny results in them attacking the outer membranes of your joints. And this friendly fire is actually the root cause of severe joint pain and arthritis. Biologists are still desperately trying to figure out a way to control this overzealous behavior, hoping to one day wipe out joint diseases entirely.
Which brings us to Section 2, the biggest enemy, mental stress. Now, you'd probably think the greatest threat to this heavily armed general headquarters is a powerful virus or some deadly bacteria, right? But the autobiography of the thymus reveals a shocking twist. Its ultimate nemesis is actually mental stress. Yes, psychological pressure. When your mind is in turmoil, the effects ripple directly into this physical command center. These triggers aren't just abstract feelings. To the thymus gland, they act like invisible, highly destructive toxins. We're talking about the constant disturbance of loud noises, paralyzing fear, intense fatigue, and underlying illnesses. But it goes way deeper psychologically. If a person harbors feelings of guilt, deep-seated hate, intense jealousy, or a lingering desire for revenge over a long period of time, wow, those toxic emotions act as a direct, sustained bombardment on your body's defense headquarters. And the physical fallout from this is just devastating. If that mental stress crosses a certain threshold, the thymus gland literally shrinks. It shrivels right up in a matter of days. This mighty command center is reduced to a shadow of its former self. And when your GHQ shrinks, your body loses its primary defense mechanism. You're left completely vulnerable, desperately reliant on external aid, like medications and heavy treatments. And as we all know, relying on external help comes with its own complex set of harsh terms, side effects, and monumental challenges.
Let's move to Section 3, tumor and fungus attack.
So, while mental stress shrinks the gland from the inside, physical threats can dismantle it from the outside. Let's walk through this terrifying domino effect. First, a physical threat, say a growing tumor, attacks and neutralizes the thymus. Boom, defenses are down. Instantly, multiple deadly diseases can invade the body simultaneously because there's just no organized resistance left. And one of the most visceral, painful consequences is a severe fungal attack.
Without the thymus, fungus can attack the fingers, causing the edges of the nails to literally begin rotting away. It's excruciating, and this infection can even attack the inside of the mouth. On top of that, the body experiences extreme muscle inflammation, weakness, and physical agony so intense that a person might become completely weary of life itself. That is the sheer chaos that happens when the thymus falls.
Now, what's really interesting is Section 4, thymosin, a magical hormone. But hey, this organ story isn't just about its vulnerabilities. It's also about its profound hidden strengths. Biologists have recently uncovered this organ's secret weapon, a magical hormone produced exclusively by the thymus called thymosin. And thymosin is no joke, a biological miracle worker. Let's look at how it acts as the ultimate rescue mission, especially during severe treatments like prolonged radiation therapy for cancer. When a patient undergoes heavy radiation, their immune system takes a catastrophic hit. Lymphocyte production stops cold. Secondary immune factories, like the spleen, just shut down completely. The defenses crash. But this is where the magic happens. The thymus releases thymosin directly into the bloodstream. The second this hormone hits the blood, it acts like a master key. It forcibly reactivates the entire defense system. It commands those closed factories, like the spleen, to restart production immediately. Within a very short time, the needed lymphocytes are deployed back into the body to fight off deadly infections. Thymosin essentially becomes the absolute guarantor of survival.
Moving on to Section 5, Aging and Unsolved Mysteries. So, as we enter the final chapter of the Commander's dossier, we have to talk about the inevitable march of time. Because even the most advanced headquarters can't operate at peak capacity forever, the thymus gland acknowledges its own mortality. The critical number here is 50. After you reach 50 years of age, the thymus gland's production essentially comes to a halt. The bustling command center just goes quiet. However, the legacy of the thymus definitely lives on. That magical hormone we just talked about, thymosin, is actually believed to play a role in mitigating the effects of aging itself. So even as the factory shuts down, its specialized products are still in there, continuing to fight for your body's youth and resilience.
Which brings us to our final thought for this explainer. The thymus gland describes itself as an ongoing enigma, an organ that knew its own profound importance way before modern science even existed. Today, despite all of our amazing tech, the thymus remains a deep puzzle. It's been beautifully described as an ocean trapped in a bowl, a vast, immeasurable mystery contained right inside a small biological vessel. So the question we're left with is this: will our advanced modern science ever truly reach the bottom of this ocean? Will we ever fully decode the secrets of the thymus? It really leaves you wondering just how many more miracles are hiding inside of us, waiting to be discovered. Thank you so much for joining me on this incredible journey through the Commander's dossier. Keep exploring and keep learning.